Laura Dunbar had beaten cancer once a decade ago, but after being diagnosed a second time with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, her thoughts turned from her own condition to concern for her 21-year-old autistic son, wondering what would become of him if she didn't make it through treatment. While undergoing radiation therapy, a family friend introduced Laura to Levi Winckel, who said he could help Laura out with some investments to take care of her son should she no longer be able to.
I started radiation in July, and it wasn't long after that I met up with Levi. I had received a benefit, and a benefit for medical expenses, and he offered to invest it to help me to pay all my medical bills. Because even with insurance, the medical bills pile up really quickly.
Over the following 7 months, Winkle convinced Laura to give him thousands of dollars he was supposedly investing in Niantic stock, the makers of the popular Pokemon Go app. Between the fake stock and a fraudulent annuity, Laura handed $25,500 over to Winkle to invest on her behalf.
And then rather than actually having to declare medical bankruptcy or something, I was optimistic that I could earn enough off of his investments to make enough to pay all my medical bills. And then there was a period of time where we weren't sure the chemotherapy was working, and there was a possibility. The doctor had told me, with the treatment I was having, there was like 12 to 14 months survival on that particular treatment, and I was pretty stunned and very worried for my disabled son because he's not real functional. And then Levi came and offered to purchase an annuity for my son, and later I found out that he probably hasn't purchased the annuity.
After never receiving any paperwork concerning her investments from Winkle and his refusal to give Laura her money back, the single mother finally swallowed her pride and took her case to the detectives at the Safford Police Department, who recently took Winkle in for questioning. The case is ongoing.
Things were getting better, my scans were better, and I didn't need to invest in that annuity at that time, so I asked for my money back because there were a couple signs that things were off. And then I've never heard from him since.
Now Laura is forced to make do with what she can, hoping her case gets resolved and maybe getting back some of what she lost.
When you're on chemotherapy and you're making decisions, and they're life and death decisions, like you're concerned for the well-being of your surviving members of your family that can't necessarily function, and your mind isn't entirely clear. And I mean, looking back now, there were a couple things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have seen that. But you're just influenced by the circumstances, and it's emotionally terribly embarrassing and it's very devastating to realize that you just gave someone money and you trusted someone at a really monumental time in your life that took advantage of you.
Authorities warn that predators seek out those who are most vulnerable, and when dealing in investments to always make sure to be given receipts and deal with reputable companies. Reporting from Safford for Gila Valley Central, I'm John Johnson.